There was snow everywhere in the mountain. There was wind and ice, and the night was still young and terrible. And Revna was stumbling, legs buried to the knee in the white glistering snow. Every step took a minute, every breath took a willing effort to draw. But she didn't stop, she couldn't stop, because she needed to save the small baby she was carrying in her arms. The wind scurried in the holes and ribs of her dress. Her bare feet were blue, almost black, but she kept her precious load close to her chest, close to her almost gone heat and heart. "It's not over yet, little guy," she kept whispering between shaking teeth. "It's never over. You will live. I promise." She then heard a branch crunching under a big weight. She knew who, or more like what, was close behind her. She couldn't let them catch her. She couldn't let that mob of vicious monsters get the child. Kirsten's child. Her beloved Kirsten's baby. More steps, crushing the snow, from the forest line. She tried to run then, but it was impossible. Her body had nothing more to give. Her legs had spent the last of their strength taking her that far. There were no trees for yards around her to use as cover, nor any bushes in that white blanket to hide in. To her left, from the side the great full moon was coming down over the treetops, she saw a group of men with torches coming out the tree line. One of them was fixing an arrow to a bow. Revna pivoted, changing directions to flee from the men. She knew if they catch her they would kill the baby, stab her, and then leave her to freeze there, soaked in poor Kirsten's baby boy's blood. "Hounding, confound them," she managed to say while they flee. "Hounding, give me strength. Thor, give me strength. Frigg, give me strength." Her legs collapsed, and she landed face first on the snow. It was so soft that the fall was enough to bury her and the baby completely. She rolled to one side so she could see up, and caught a glimpse of the starry night sky so far above the snow. How deep was she? She felt she was deeper than the underworld. No time to lose. She needed to get up, but her legs were done. Those thick thighs she was so proud of, those muscular legs she used so much to win wrestling matches against even the boys in her village, failed her. It was over. The promise she made to this beautiful baby boy, to her beloved Kirsten, to herself, will never be fulfilled. Death would claim them all now. A tear fell down her still warm cheek when the memory of what these monsters did to her best friend, her beloved, came forth in her mind. The look on her face when she gave her the baby, the sad smile in her pink lips, the blood spouting from her neck, her bloodshot eyes rolling back, her head tumbling down the floor. It was over. They were over. Cursed Odin and all the gods for not hearing her prayers. She should have listened to Kirsten. She looked down to the little bundle wrapped in fabric she was holding against her chest. The rascal was asleep. She couldn't help a light chuckle, seeing the little guy so carefree with all the mess around him. How she wished this baby would live. How she wished this boy grew up to be a great man. How she wished she was able to be with him all her years to tell him about his wonderful mother. Her eyes caught a glint on the baby's neck. It was Kirsten's amulet. Of course she would have put it on the love of her life for protection. But she could hear the men approaching. It was for nothing at the end. Or maybe... She noticed they were in a ditch, and there was some earth in there. She looked around and noticed a small dent, a little cave of sorts, that would fit a small baby of few months, like Kirsten's. Carefully, she took just enough fabric from him to make a small bundle, and then placed the baby in the cave. He was still asleep. He looked like he was in an earthen cradle, or in a small grave. She carefully put the amulet hanging from a gold chain around the baby's neck in his little hand, and by reflex, the baby clenched his small fist around the crucifix. "You take care of him now," she said to it, caressing the baby's soft, reddish hair. "You better do a better job than that bastard Odin did." Tears soaking her freckled pale face, she rolled the other way and hugged the bundle of fabric she took close to her chest. She was careful not to make a sound. Maybe they would pass over and leave. "Found them!" someone yelled above her. "Come here, you witch, you'll get what's coming to you." The old man was strong enough to pull her from her long yellow hair out of the ditch and over the snow in one strong motion, but was blind enough not to notice the bundle she carried was an empty ball of fabric. They grabbed her, tied a rope to her neck, and pulled her away to walk back over the snow to their lord's house. Slaves didn't have the right to be carried back. Either she'd make it on her own, or they were willing to just take her head with them back to the Lord. "Why did you run?" the old man grunted behind her. "You and the bastard will die anyway. You just made things more difficult than they should be." She didn't reply, but she kept her smile hidden, and she prayed silently to a new god. Behind them, below the earth, the cradle made of soil and rock was deeper than 15-year-old Revna could have thought. Behind the sleeping child covered with fabric, clenching a Christian symbol in his little fist, 3 green eyes opened and the long split tongue reached for his reddish thin hair.